Do you believe that families should be given closure after the murder of a child, loved one, or even spouse? If you think these things, then bringing back the death penalty would be a good thing. So the death penalty would reduce overcrowding of prisons, give closure to the victims' families, and improve the quality and effectiveness of prisons. According to the New York Times, bringing back the death penalty could help create a better prison environment, not only for other inmates, but for law enforcement as well. The New York Times says the death penalty is needed to improve the quality and effectiveness of our prisons. Imagine being a guard in a prison with a row of inmates who were sentenced to life in prison. Due to the lack of the death penalty, they feel as if they've been given a license to kill you without fear of their life. So what? They're already in prison. What can be worse? Many correctional officers die along with other jail inmates who have a possibility of getting their life back outside of jail. According to the Journal Record, in September of 2022, a highly dangerous inmate went on a stabbing spree, injuring at least 18 people, 3 of them dying. This is an example of an inmate who was being released and ended up dying before then. On November 21st, 2022, a man in New Jersey was found unresponsive and injured in his cell. He was scheduled to be released for his crime the day after his death, November 22nd. State data in New Jersey shows that assaults on incarcerated people committed by other inmates aren't uncommon in the system. This is Jeffrey Dahmer, an American serial killer and rapist. Between 1978 and 1991, he murdered 17 males in different fashions. These included rape, dismemberment, necrophilia, and cannibalism. On July 22, 1991, he was caught trying to murder Tracy Edwards. Upon investigation of his one-bedroom apartment, they found pictures of dead bodies, dismembered limbs, severed heads in the refrigerator, multiple photographs of the victims, and more human remains in the refrigerator. He was sentenced to 15 life terms in prison, a total of 957 years. He was later beaten to death by a fellow inmate. Why he wasn't sentenced to death for what he did baffled me. That's Jeffrey Dahmer, and that's his little bucket that he had of chemicals. It disintegrated the rest of people. This is Derek Todd Lee. He's a Baton Rouge serial killer, and on July 2002, he attempted to rape and beat Diana Alexander. His DNA linked him to 7 unsolved murders. These murders took place between 1992 and 2003. He stood for 2 trials and was sentenced to life. He died before finishing them. Most of those people he had ended up murdering were LSU students as well. This is Dane Bush, and he's a New Roads killer. In May of 2016, he stole a knife that a woman was defending herself with and stabbed her. Then he beat the woman with the dumbbell. He was sentenced to life in prison. Funnily enough, my mom grew up in the city where this happened, and I used to go there often between the time of 2005 and 2016. His mother actually made my parents' wedding cake. So, contrary to people's beliefs, prison is not as racially profiling as you think it is. And so prison is a building in which people are legally held as a punishment for a crime they have committed. And death row is a prison block or a section of prison where they're sentenced to death. According to the Federal Bureau of Prisons, the percentage of inmates in jail are as follows. 57.5 are white, 38.4 are black, 2.6 are Native American, 1.4 are Asian. And according to the Death Row Penalty Information Center, the percentage of death row inmates are as follows. 42% are white, 41% are black, 14% are Latin, and 3% are another race. So this is a chart of states that still use the death row penalty. 24 states still use it, including our state, Louisiana, although 13 haven't used it in 10 years. 23 states have none, and 3 have future consideration of using it. Currently on death row, there's 2,414 inmates. 1 in every 8 are innocent. The most common execution is lethal injection. However, electrocution, lethal gas, hanging, and a firing squad are 4 other methods. So what can be taken from this? Before ending my speech today, I should add one more thing. Although this has nothing to do with the Roe v. Wade debate and what you believe in, think about this. If we can justify killing an unborn child for doing nothing to a human, how can we not justify killing highly dangerous individuals for torturing, raping, and terrorizing innocent people in our communities? So think about what I first said in the beginning of this speech. Do you now believe that the death penalty should be reinforced like it used to? Do you believe that it can give correctional officers and other inmates peace of mind when doing their daily jobs?